Okay everybody, quick update here. I've got the gas tank coated. We're gonna hook it all back up, put a new battery in it, put the airbox back on, and we're gonna see if we can get it started. Hey guys, so I'm back here working on the Honda Elite project, and last video you saw me trying to start it. I didn't really finish it. Got to talking with my grandpa, and we were kind of piddling around, but basically we got it running, and I did take it for a drive. It runs pretty good, but it needs some carb adjustment because it doesn't really idle correctly. But now I'm kind of running into a different issue. The stock filter that is in the gas tank was gone. So what we did is we installed a outer fuel filter, but what that does is any contaminants that are in the tank, they can flow through your petcock and that gets clogged, which we knew the old one was bad. But then it started barely even putting gas through, so I took it out and it was clogged, but I just ordered a new one anyway, and I just replaced that. And it's freeing flowing, excuse me, it's flowing freely through the filter there. I can see it, so I know it's working fine. The vacuum is working. But I'm running into an issue now where it just doesn't want to, and beforehand, before the replacement of this valve, or the petcock, because we knew it was bad, it had this issue last week when we kind of piddled around with it. So what the issue is here is it will not start without like ether, and it'll, you know, if you keep revving it, it runs. I could drive it, but it won't start without that. I'll give you guys an example. It may start a little here, but it won't stay running. Yeah, so you heard it turn over and try and run for a second. But, so I'm having that issue. Basically, I don't know, we're trying to narrow it down. It's not the petcock. Last week we did kind of narrow it down, and this is why I bought the petcock. The old one was bad anyway, but I think it was working because we still have the issue. But what we had done is taken an old like lawnmower gas tank and just hooked it straight into the carb, so no vacuum or anything needed, no petcock. And I taped it to the seat so I could take it for a ride. And it ran, it just didn't idle correctly. Like I said, it needs some carburetor adjustment, but it ran perfect. And so we know something is wrong. Either the gas isn't getting through the carb correctly, or something that I have no idea about. But you guys probably can't see, but there's a little screw at the bottom of the carburetor that holds gas. So to tell if it was flowing, I loosened it and no gas poured out. This is last week. So that's why I hooked up the free-flowing tank, and now when I loosen it, gas is flowing through. So gas is flowing, something's up. Hey guys, so we've done some work, quite a dang bit since we last talked, but basically all I did is reassembled it. I've still kind of got that running issue, but once it runs for a while, after I use starter fluid, it will idle a little. It's not set right. I'm not very good with carburetors or anything of that nature, so and really this one was just a build to make money, so we're gonna leave it at that. It looks really nice. It starts. I can show whoever looks at it that it does, and it runs and drives. It just needs a little work, probably a tune-up. I gave it a fresh oil change. Everything's hooked back up. And yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys an update. And that's pretty much a wrap up for this project. Back from the last clip, I did just want to touch on one thing, that being the carb. I just wanted to let you guys know that I did take it out. I took it apart. I inspected it all, and it's really clean as a whistle. There's no old gas, no sludge, no dirt. It's really pretty clean, so I don't really think it needed to be rebuilt. Possibly could have been rebuilt, but I'm not going to buy a rebuild kit and have that, what it would cost for an aftermarket carb. Although, yeah, the Honda ones are usually the best. OEM, you know what they say, but basically, I'm pretty satisfied with how this project came along. Besides the carb issue and keeping it running, I'm sure it just needs to be adjusted, taken to a shop. I'll try more on the red one once we get to that project. And I guess the reason being that I'm not really trying to address this issue more is that I'm not keeping this moped. Basically, I've done what needed to be done, which is everything swapped over, cluster, the plastics, the motor, basically everything that was on the good moped that just needed to be switched over to the bad moped, but with the title, or I should say that frame. So basically this project, yeah, it's been a wrap. There's one last thing that I did not touch on that I just did. I had to cut the metal because, as you guys know, this piece right here, it's just really bent, so I couldn't get one of the screw, or I guess the threads where your bolt would go in, was not lining up with the kickstand, so I just fixed that. What I did is I just took the grinder and cut some of the metal out because it wouldn't bend back. There was nothing that would make it bend back. So now this functions as it should. It doesn't move. The only thing that I'm not really satisfied about it is that when it is leaning on it, it tends to lean a little more than it really should, but it's not like it's gonna fall over or anything. So this is a working moped. When I did take it down the road, even though I don't have any footage of that, it did ride really, really good. When it's running, it runs excellent. It rides excellent. The brakes work good. Everything is working as it should. And I think I did touch on the last one too. I gave it a fresh oil change. If I had to guess, the oil had maybe never been changed, maybe one other time, but it was pretty dark. And this is basically about a 2,000-mile moped. And I think they say changed at, don't quote me on this, but I think it's 600 miles, every 600 miles. I thought about changing and I'm kind of blanking on it right now. I don't think you'd call it the clutch oil or whatnot, but I think this is the drain plug for it. One of these plugs is or something, but what the oil you use for this is 10W30, and it said that for this here, when you change that, it's also 10W30, so it's same thing. If you change your oil, you might as well change this too. I think it's basically the same interval when it needs to be changed, but I didn't mess with that. Other than that, yeah, this is probably the last video that you guys will see of this. I'm going to put it up for sale, and I'm pretty excited to get working on the red one. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be showing a lot more than I have on this one. I do have a tripod, and I'll probably start using it. The red one needs a lot of work, as you guys saw. It's got old gas in the tank. The carb is, I'm sure it's really sludged up, but I've got a new carb. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down that carb. I'm going to give you guys an in-depth look on how bad it really is. But we're not going to use the carb. We're not going to rebuild it or anything. It just costs too much to rebuild it. It'll probably cost me what it would be for a new aftermarket carb, which is what I have. And that carb actually came off the parts moped. I'm not sure why it had a new carb on it, and it's not original, but it did, and it's clean, so we're going to try running with that. If it doesn't, you know what, we'll rebuild the original, but I'm going to use what I have so I can save money. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys look forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and thank you for watching.